Hey people, this is Neil talking. Now, this is something that's been on my mind for a while, and I intend to, at some point, make a full-scale video, maybe even part 1, 2, and 3 on the Algerian War of Independence, but this is just covering one episode within that time frame. This is the Paris Massacre of 1961. France and Algeria have a long disgruntled history of each other. The first major contact was made between the two countries in 1526. At the time, Algeria was still part of the Ottoman Empire. Various conflicts ensued between the two for the next few centuries. Around 1830, France decided to invade the country in order to set up a colony there. The takeover was fairly quick and relatively painless, though the settling that followed was not. As in many colonies, the French forcibly took land from the native Algerians. Slowly but surely, Algeria came under France's power, despite a relatively small number of people living there actually being French. The native people of Algeria grew poor, and tensions between them and the French settlers were high. In 1954, there were 9 million Algerians and 1 million French people living in Algeria. In contrast, there were just 200,000 Algerians living in France. In that year, the National Liberation Front rallied for the liberation of Algeria, starting the Algerian War. Life for Algerians in France deteriorated over the next few years. Earlier that year, the crisis of May 1958 took place. We saw the reinstatement of Charles de Gaulle to power. De Gaulle called for a new constitution and gave all the French colonies the option to vote for the new constitution or to become independent. Unfortunately for Algeria, they weren't considered a colony but free departments, and they weren't given a choice. As to the war, de Gaulle called for a peace of braves, which basically meant that he wanted the Algerians to surrender peacefully. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I mean, the French may surrender, but the Algerians aren't French, and they don't do that cowardly stuff. The Algerians didn't heed his request. Many had been working with the FLN to take money out of France to Algeria to fund the Algerian war effort. Supporters of the FLN were routinely rounded up. Also, August saw the murder of 3 French policemen by Algerian terrorists. The now infamous Maurice Papon, who was the prefect of police, retaliated by organizing raids of Algerian neighborhoods. The police rounded up some 5,000 Nigerians and detained them in a hospital that had been previously used as a detention center. Papon had significant experience in this sort of thing, thanks to his involvement helping the Nazis round up the Jews in France and organizing shipping them off to concentration camps during the German occupation of France in World War II. Not all Parisians were okay with the Algerian roundup and related actions by the French government. Many Parisians opposed the Algerian war and even sought out contact with the FLN in order to help liberate Algeria. In response to the detention of Algerians, one French reporter wrote, "In the past 2 days, a racist concentration camp has been opened in Paris. They have not even had the good sense to choose a site which would not remind French patriots who are currently celebrating the anniversary of the liberation of Paris of what took place there." Papon and the police didn't stop there. Rumors of torture abounded. People were taken in based on their appearance, arrested for simply being Algerian, and thrown into the Seine with their hands tied behind their backs before being left to drown. Often the person's origin wasn't even double-checked, meaning other North Africans and even Italians were falsely accused of being Algerian based on the color of their skin. The reasoning for the harsh consequences was made clear by Papon, who stated, "For 1 hit taken, we shall give back 10. He was angry because the Algerian terrorists, who made up an insignificant number of the Algerians in France, had continued their bombing, killing an additional 11 policemen and injuring 17 others. And he saw the retaliation for what it was. A Christian magazine reported, "It is not possible to stay mute when in Paris we are resurrecting the methods of the Gestapo." I want to take a moment to say something. You know, it has been said that the French brutalize other nations, and, this whole thing about them being cowards, and I think it's true. They've brutalized other nations throughout the world. They're from enslaving Haiti to the war they fought after World War II in Indochina, which killed millions again. And then when they lost that, to go to the war they committed in Algeria. I mean, you see throughout this history, they surrendered to the Germans, who were an equal or more powerful force without a fight, just there. But when it comes to other weaker nations who can't defend themselves, they're all big and tough. And they always go all in on them. And you'd think that after World War II, they say, well, we've been occupied, we should have more empathy, and we shouldn't do what the Germans did to us, to our people. We know what it's like now. But no, they doubled down on their colonies and reinforced every effort to bring them back under their control and stop them being free nations. And something, I don't like the French, because what they do to this day is that colonial tax. They take $500 billion from French colonies in Africa. Well, not French colonies, but former French colonies. And you know what the Colonel Cortez once said in Grand Theft Auto Vice City? The French accuse others of being thieves. They've been stealing for poor countries for centuries. And it's very, very true. Anyway, I've been going on a bit, but let's move back. On October 5th, 1961, the police announced a new curfew that will be put into effect for all Algerians and French Muslims. Between the hours of 8:30 p.m. and 5:30 a.m., they were not allowed out of their homes. In response, the FLN declared that the protest would take place on October 17th. Papon was ready. With an enormous force of 7,000 policemen and 1,400 riot police at his back, he succeeded in blocking off public transport in the city. However, 30 to 40,000 people still managed to make it in the city for the demonstration. Of those, 11,000 were arrested. The demonstration remained peaceful on the Algerian side. They were simply trying to protest the unfair treatment they were receiving, as well as their discontent with the war in Algeria. However, the police soon opened fire on the crowd. The exact number of deaths is unclear. Papon claimed only 2 people were killed. The French government admitted some years later the number was as high as 40. Evidence suggests those numbers were both low. Bodies were dumped in the Seine, meaning it's likely that many were never recovered. The people of France, not just the Algerians, were angered by the event. What happened on 17th October 1961 and the following days against the peaceful demonstrators, which no weapons were found, morally forces us to bring our testimony and to alert public opinion. All guilty people must be punished. Papon acted as though he knew he would face no consequences, and he didn't. He suffered this. He was even awarded the French Legion of Honor the same year as the massacre. The French government covered up the massacre, with Papon playing a role in that. The cover-up was also helped along by another well-publicized event shortly after, the death of 8 communists who were also killed by police outside the Sharon metro station. People remember Sharon, but most quickly forgot about the carnage that happened on October 17th. Algeria did gain its independence the next year. Later, Papon's crimes were highlighted during an unrelated trial, resulting in the government finally acknowledging the massacre in 2012, though they only cited 40 deaths. Most historians, such as one of the leading experts on the massacre, Jean-Luc Einaudi, think the number was at least 48 on the night in question, and a number 142 around that time, including a confirmed 110 whose bodies were found in the Seine. So in short, on the day of 17th October 1961, they took, and I've seen other estimates which say it was 300, many of these protesters beat them, shot them, and then drowned them in the River Seine. And I'm going to leave up a photo which was placed there where they actually wrote on the banks of the river, a graffiti there, and said, "Here we drowned the Algerians." And the government statement simply said, on October 17th, 1961, Algerians who were protesting for independence were killed in a bloody repression. All right, people. Now, I want to also say this. I know Algeria is an Arab nation, and I know some people who are listening may have been treated by Arabs, and I understand that, and I'm not ever going to excuse the way they behave. Their racism and the mistreatment of black Africans has to stop. But on this video is about commemorating the people who died. If you cannot bring yourself to say anything respectful to these people who lost their lives, then I would just ask you to please just not say anything. Thank you. Now, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. If you want to support this channel, I'll leave the PayPal in the description and my Instagram there, and I'll leave the website source so you can read up on it yourself. Peace, family.